Hi, Priyank.
Hello. Hi, Tanmay.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Safety Connect podcast. It's always a very exciting experience for me to talk to folks like you all who have spent a lot of time in the road safety space and have so much to talk about and so much to share with everybody. So, thank you once again for joining us.
Yeah, it's a great honor to be connected with such people who are actually working to the advancement of road safety knowledge, as well as sharing the knowledge of from the uh, actual person who are actually working on the field, and try to forward it towards the general citizens of our country. So it's good effort from your side too. So it's an honor to join with you.
Thanks, Priyank. So, for all the people who are listening to us and watching us, let me give a quick introduction about yourself to everybody. So,
Yeah.
Priyank Trivedi is a doctoral researcher at the Institute of Infrastructure Technology, Research and Management. And his area of expertise lies in the field of transportation safety and infrastructure engineering. He he's also an avid and enthusiastic supporter of sustainable transport and safe mobility. Priyank is also a accredited road safety auditor with Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, and he's garnered multiple certifications in the field of road safety, including but not limited to the road traffic injury prevention and control in low and middle income countries from Johns Hopkins University and youth and road safety. So again, thank you so much for joining us. So I'm very curious to understand, why did this subject fascinate you and why have you dedicated this phase of your life towards road safety?
Yeah, so actually, it's a great question to be answered. So, when I was about to complete my BTech from the civil engineering from the Indus University, Ahmedabad. So, at that time, I always curious to know about why most of this social media as well as print media is only focusing about this many accidents are happening, and these are the figures of road accident fatalities and other things, right? So, no one is majorly talking about how we can prevent the road accident severity, or you can say the how we can reduce the road accidents in India, right? And unfortunately, at that particular time, I got internship in the safety corridor demonstration program, which is actually initiative taken by the Bloomberg Philanthropy as well as the World Bank. So I fortunately got chance to be a part of that project via LASA, or we can say the LIA Associates. And then my goal, or you can say my dedication towards the road safety, actually get a good path and good mentorship, that how actual things are going on and why there are not the clustered effort in the field of road safety, especially for the India and the emerging countries. So that's how I'm coming up towards the attracted myself and attracted my knowledge to enhance my knowledge as well as the understanding for the field of road safety. And after completion of my masters, I fortunately get a chance to uh, mentor to get mentored by one of the best faculty of IIT Ram, my guide Dr. Jiten Shah sir. And then we took this particular topic of road accident severity analysis and how we can actually enhance the road safety and the structure of the road safety. So that's how I come up towards this topic.
Got it. Understood. So, what were some of your findings during that project work that you did with the World Bank?
Yeah, so during that particular era where I worked for the SCDP project, so it's quite interesting to find that most of people are not actually aware about what us mean by the road signs, right? So first great thing to notice is there are several road signs on our study stretch, right? But as an individual, or we can say as a road user, they are not actually aware about what do you mean by that particular sign, right? Second and most interesting thing is some of that sign are having let's say the example, let's say the bump ahead, but people are not very convenient, or you can say not very aware about the English language, right? So most of them are telling that we are not comfortable with the English. This is the second thing. Third and the most interesting thing is the helmet and the seat belt users. So mostly if I'm particularly talking about the peak hours, the morning peak hour and the afternoon peak hour. So mostly, if I recall my data the collected, there is only 20 to 30% you can say the seat belt users as well as the helmet users. So these figures are actually threatening. And then coming to the road infrastructure, right? So we got actually the basic analysis, or we can say the recognition survey of our study sets. So there are multiple other integration failures of related to road safety. Like there is no infrastructure related to pedestrians, right? Or you can say there is lack of speed reduction technology or the speed calming devices which must be there on the particular stretch of road, but there were not really in the good condition. So that's how it's like my finding suggested that it's like the integrated failure. We can't highlight it that this particular thing is only causing the road accident, right? So it's like the nexus of failure rather than a pinpointed failure.
Okay. So now that you listed a couple of those points, so what's the solution for each one of those?
So let us talk about the first problem and then the solution. So let's start with the human issue, right?
Mhm.
So first thing is the influencing parameters is the human factors. So first thing is the let's say if you are talking the present scenario about the India. So if you are aware that Ministry of Road Transport and Highway just publish a road accident data report for the 2022 before 10 to 15 days ago. So if we analyze the details of that particular report, we got to know that mostly 85,000 road accident victims are within the age of, let's say, 1 year to 35 years. So most of these people are the younger generation, or we can say the generation which actually contributed towards the GDP of India, or you can say the earning part of our economy, right? Second, and the most interesting thing is within that particular cluster, only the 20% of the accident, or you can say the 20% of the fatality, which is caused during the 2022 year, is only belongs to the age of 18 to 25 years. So this figure is particularly very threatening. So here are some let's say the list of the human failures. So first of all, is not people are not aware about the road safety laws, right? Second thing is people are not aware about how to drive. So what are the safer driving practices? Third thing is we do not have a particular kind of system so that a particular person can get the knowledge of road safety as well as how to drive safely. Third and most important thing is people are not really concerned about the road safety, right? This is kind of a gray area for Indians. We are not actually aware. We can't do much effort to educate and to get to know about the road safety. So this is the human thing. So how we can advance these challenges? So first thing is to launch the campaigns of road safety in the local language. So why local language? Let's start with our conversation, right? Right now we are talking in English, so most of our listeners are attracted who are very much literate, or let's say who are compatible in the English, right? But if we are talking about the status of English knowing, or we can say the compliant people with the English language in India, which is more or less quite less greater as compared to the local languages. So first thing is to launch the road safety campaigns in the local languages, and this campaign should be led by the local leaders of road safety. Let's say I'm working in the Gujarat, right? So a Gujarat uh, a leader, or you can say a road safety advisor from the Gujarat, can be a perfect person to teach a Gujarati. Why? Because he is very much aware about the overall road accident scenario of India. So it's like local for the vocal kind of a thing. So he can actually understand that the issue of that particular area, and he can directly give his suggestion, or he can educate his prominent listeners in that local language. So first is the road safety campaign. Second one is the integration of road safety knowledge, as well as the how to drive, how to cross the road, how to follow the signal. And this kind of topic must be part of our educational curriculum. Since from the preliminary towards the let's say the advanced level education. So after 10th and 12th, as well as in the engineering background also. So as an engineer, I never thought about the road safety, or you can say the infrastructure development to reduce the overall number of accidents. So it's quite difficult to digest as a road safety enthusiast, that why we are not focusing on, or our education system is not focusing on this kind of issue, right? And third, and the most interesting thing is uh, to launch the campaign via social media as well as the print media, because most of our Indians are directly or indirectly influenced by the print media. So we are not very much focusing our efforts towards the print media. So first thing an Indian do is to hold a cup of a tea or a coffee, and in other end he or she can hold a newspaper in the morning, right? Or while driving, or while using the public transport towards the his or her office. So we can use the potential of social media as well as the print media to enhance the awareness, or to develop the human skills related to the road safety from the actual crust of social media as well as the print media. So these
Mm.
are some things which can enhance the overall human part of our the human factor of which affect the road accident, or which influence the road accident,
Got it. So you
right?
spoke
Then comes
about,
the engineering factors. Sorry.
so just wanted to call out certain things, right? So you mentioned about
Yeah.
how, say, the local leaders need to be more proactive about it and need to be talking about it. And you mentioned about how the education system needs to incorporate all of this. You also mentioned about how now the print media, social media also needs to have more content around on these lines. But just a small example, right? Like whenever I see a news clipping or a video of any minister, say in a vehicle, or say even a police person who's traveling in the rear seat of a vehicle, they are not wearing a seatbelt, right? How can we expect them to, even though they may be responsible for the safety of the people, and yeah, they're the torchbearers for, say, safety, good governance, and all of that. But they themselves are not even wearing a seatbelt. They themselves are not adhering to the norms. So, how do we bring about that shift and ensure that they also walk the talk?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and it's a great point to be highlighted. Let's say if you are very right about these things. So let's consider
Correct.
an
One,
example.
one more thing I would like to add. We
Yeah.
see advertisements of how politicians are sitting on top of cars also,
Yes.
then
Yes.
going in a convoy, right? Like in the light of that, I think, yeah, very curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. So it's a great point to be highlighted, right? So first of all, before understanding the road accident scenario, we must understand our own responsibility. So as a citizen, as well as as a decision maker. So here I'm if I'm answering your question related to the responsibility of the politicians, right? So they are the one who are the directly responsible, or they are the key decision makers. If if they want if they want that this particular road safety legislation, or you can say the enforcement, must be imply on this particular area of India, then first he or she should be compatible with that particular registration. As you mentioned rightly, there are during that the season of election, many politicians as well as the many political party leaders are just jumping over the cars, and they are using the other kind of you can say the motorized vehicle to highlight it, that political rallies and all of these things. So these are the, and on the other ends, not just politicians, you can also see the influence of the social media influencers. I do not want to name the social media influencers, but there are many social media influencers who themselves are responsible to influence the direct or indirect behavior of humans, right? And they are actually not aware about their own responsibilities. So when they are following their rules, they know their responsibility, they know how good or how bad he or she is impacting the society, then and then the change will kind of right, the initiation of change can be expected from them first, and then it comes to the second hierarchy. So there must be a particular hierarchy to improve the road safety. As a road safety researcher, I always highlight that in emerging countries or emerging economies, as well as the countries like India, where we have to handle many kind of people, and you can say the overall citizens to handle within the India, it's quite challenging as well as the integrated it requires integrated efforts from the everyone's side. So the first thing is to generate a hierarchy, who is responsible for what things, and after generating the hierarchy, the key stakeholder, or you can say the part of a person who are part of that particular level of hierarchy, he or she must be aware about his role to safeguard the rest of the part of hierarchy. So by just, you can say, the highlighting these things, we can directly or indirectly just put down our thoughts as a road safety enthusiast or as a road safety guys towards the higher hierarchy officers or higher hierarchical persons like social media influencers, politician, or other kind of stakeholders from the government, to highlight his responsibility and to accept their let's say to accept their delusion from that hierarchy, right? So as of now, they are not part of this overall road safety scenario. They are just highlighting that this should be done, this should be done, helmet pano, seat belt pano. But as you rightly mentioned, even they are not following the rules. So this is the problem. So that's why the role of key stakeholders as well as the social media influencers and person like politicians as well as the minister himself are the most important key members of this hierarchy.
I think it also boils down to accountability, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
when it comes to road accidents that are happening, say in a constituency or in a particular region, who's responsible for that, right? Now, we can easily say that, yeah, it is all based on behavior, but there might be a big pothole in the middle of the road which caused me to swerve and then I met with an accident.
Yeah, so
So,
there is
so
not only the human factor. You are absolutely right. So human factor. Second one is the environment, as you mentioned, environment in the fact, the road environment as well as the environment near the vehicle or near the human, right? So second one is the road and environmental factors. As you rightly mentioned, the potholes, right? The overall road infrastructure. There are some places in India where no roads are here. So how can a road user felt safe while driving through or while passing through that particular roads? Third one is the vehicle standards, or we can say the vehicle factors. Vehicle factors are also the responsible for ensuring the safety of a vehicle user, right? So there are multiple layers and multiple persons are responsible for the each of the hierarchy, each part of the hierarchy to establish establish the road safety system in India and to enhance the road safety system within our country.
so coming back to my point, right, about accountability. So whose responsibility is it, right? To ensure that, say, deaths are not happening in a particular area because of road accidents.
Sorry,
So
pardon?
I'm saying, like, whose responsibility is it? Which department, what designation,
Okay.
who
So
who handles that, right?
yeah.
Because
So
we spoke about a lot of things, right? We speak about the engineering aspect, the vehicle guidelines, vehicle standards, road standards. Um, like, say, even if some work was done on the road, was that done properly? So it all has to roll up to some particular person, right? Who needs to ensure that, yeah, like say, okay, when I started off my tenure here, there were so many accidents which were happening. At the end of my tenure here, accidents have come down to so and then I've done so and so things to make sure that it has come down. So who is that person that is accountable for this?
Yeah. So as of now, your question is very right, but this question is quite kind of a tricky question, right? Because when you are analyzing a particular accident and you are comparing a particular accident, one accident with another accident in a particular constituency or a particular area, right? So there can be a major chance that a first accident is caused by a human error. Let's say first accident is caused by drink and driving case, so that particular case must be handled by the local police, or you can say the local police person. And on the other end, let's say the second accident is happening by the failure of the engine failure, or you can say the failure of the brake. So this is the issue of the legislation as well as the vehicle standards, right? So the overall accident scenario is quite difficult to handle because of their unique characteristics and the overcoming, or you can say the ever-changing characteristics of particular accident, right? But to ensure this kind of complex situation, one can directly generate, or you can say the best example is the Punjab as well as the Gujarat. So they are just built the road safety authorities, a particular authority which are responsible for the enhancement of overall road safety culture and to ensure the road safety of that particular state, right? So Punjab as well as the Gujarat, and I forgot another two or three states which are doing fine on their own way. But here is the question: they are just on their initial stage, right? So it's quite difficult to integrate all all efforts towards them, right? So we can't say that if an accident happens on the boundary of Gujarat, so Gujarat Road Safety Authority, or Punjab in the boundary of Punjab, so Punjab Road Safety Authority must take the responsibility and must take overall charges, right? So it, as I previously meant, answer your previous question, right? So there must be a hierarchy. In India, as of now, there are no hierarchy. So it's like no one take the responsibility for such for many kind of accidents, and based on that there are many accidents which for which in particular FIR, or you can say the police reports are also not available because no one is taking the responsibility for that accident. So so my only answer to enhance this question is to be recruit, or be just attract the people who are actually aware about the road safety situation and who are the actual road safety expert in a part of your decision making process. Otherwise this scenario will remain same, and your efforts gets requires more time to get a particular result or to get a particular conclusion.
Got
So
it.
that's how you can, by allowing the road safety expert in a decision making hierarchy, or by putting the road safety expert into a particular situation, or a part of government system, because at the end of the day government is taking most of this decision
Mhm.
or the most of this enhancement, right? So
Yeah,
government or the key stakeholders should think about the uh, requirement, or you can say the importance of road safety expert to enhance the overall road safety scenario.
got it. Yeah, fair point. So we were actually discussing about the other findings of yours, right, from your project that you had taken up. So this was one aspect.
Yeah,
So maybe we can backtrack to the other aspects as well and the
yeah.
other.
As of now, I'm also working on the road safety area. So my most of the PhD research is only focusing on the part of road safety, right?
Mhm.
So another issue is that if you analyze the overall condition of India, right? So first and the foremost thing is the overspeeding. Overspeeding is the thing. where most casualties, or you can say the fatalities, are happening because of the overspeeding. So this fact is based on the data provided by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways report, right? So when you are considering an overspeeding as the you can say the most influencing factor of fatality, right? So there must be some standards, there must be some legislations, there must be some control over your vehicle to reduce the speed, right? So for example, there are many ways to control the speed of your particular vehicle. Let's say I'm having a car which can directly speed up from 0 to 120 kmph within 6 to 8 minutes, right? So is it fair in Indian condition? Is it fair in Indian condition to have such cars? No, because we do not have such kind of infrastructure except on the national highway and state highways. So our national highway infrastructure as well as the state highways are doing absolutely fine. But I'm talking about the urban areas as well as the rural areas where most of our population is attracted or situated, right? So the urban road as well as the rural roads are not very much able to incorporate such kind of heavy vehicles. So first one is the vehicle must be having some kind of speed adjustment uh, devices, or you can say the speed adjustment technology. So there are many technologies in market which can directly or indirectly govern the speed of particular vehicle, right? Second thing is to, as we already discussed, people must be aware about their own responsibility, right? Because the overspeeding behavior of a particular driver may cause not just one life of his or herself, it may cause the other life of other road users, right? So this is the second thing. Third thing is to give a proper infrastructure at proper place. Let's say I am aware that this particular stretch of my study area is influenced by the overspeeding, right? So by detailed data analysis of our detailed traffic data analysis, I can provide I can highlight, or I can provide a particular suggestion that, let's say, a particular stretch uh, must be uh, must be added with the raised pedestrian crossing, right? Because pedestrian traffic is also there, as well as the speeding is also there. So I am recommending the raised pedestrian crossing. So as a researcher, as a road safety expert, I'm recommending such things. So here comes my responsibility as a third point, and the fourth and most important point, which I highlighted previously. So as a decision maker, now it's his or her choice, or from the government, any kind of government department, let's say the state road and building department, or from the local municipal corporation, right? So they are the responsible one who built the bump at a particular section where I highlighted. So that's how we can collaborate our efforts with the help of a researcher, as well as the integration with the actual government official, as well as the people of our country. So that's how my research work highlighted that there is no particular nexus, or you can say the integrated effort to uh, to uh, to actually conclude, or to actually provide a particular safety measure on a particular stretch, or any particular study area. So it's quite difficult to manage these things.
Got it. Understood. So this integrated effort that you're talking about, right? So is that happening in Gujarat and Punjab right now?
Yeah, they are just on the let's say the initial stage of this integrated efforts, right?
How long do you think it would like take to actually see things
So as of now,
change in metrics?
yeah, as of now, if you really want to change these things, right? So if you are aware about the CAGR, the cumulative aggregated value of our road accident. So if you analyze the road accident since 2016 to the last year 2022, these values are rising. The CAGR values, percentage CAGR values are rising. So we can conclude that the most of the time road accident from each year are rising, or you can say the for some years the road accidents are reduced, but the fatality caused by the road accident are rising, except the year of 2020 19 or 2019 and 2020 when the COVID happens,
Yeah.
right? So as of now, if I analyze and if I let's say there are many people uh, who are part of Gujarat Road Safety Authority as well as Punjab Road Safety Authority. I analyze and I am having the contact with these people. So they are doing absolutely fine because they are new to that field. So they are also try to summarize these things, try to collect the information on how to enhance the road safety, how we can launch a particular campaign, how we can integrate it, the efforts of NGOs as well as the expert from the field. So they are on their initial stage, right? There are some people who are actually experts of this field and who are part of the system, or you can say the part of this authority, but still it requires much time to show the great result, because as of now our situation of our road accident is quite threatening. So to reduce this number, to reduce the to enhance the overall situation, it requires some time. So we can't say that in next upcoming 2 years or in upcoming 3 years you can definitely see the reduction in number of road accident or number of injuries or number of fatalities caused by the road accident. So it's quite tricky to analyze these things.
Okay. So I think let's hope that this model works and also is replicated in other
Yeah,
parts of the country, and then given its due importance because it's the need of the hour. And so I also want to kind of talk about the youth, right? Now, the youth of our country or any country is very easily influenced by what is happening out there, right? It could be social media, it could be their peers. So whatever is out there, people are impressionable. Now, sometimes when I'm on YouTube, I just see some videos of how uh, there are some people who are, say, driving their Fortuners or their Thars and cutting across the divider on a
lane.
national
Yeah,
highway and with a lot of pride and like almost like with a lot of chest banging. Yeah, I was able to do it. When I look at it, I feel like their gray cells have not developed enough, you know?
exactly.
It just feels very weird and immature to me that somebody who looks like an adult, but their brains have not developed as much to
Exactly.
understand how to go about things. So my point is, how do we bring about that shift in mindset at a large scale amongst the youth to ensure that they give the due importance to safety?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. As we previously discussed, there are, as I mentioned, that social media is directly or indirectly influencing the millennials as well as the young people of our country or any part of this world, right? And most of this content available on the social media are not much focus on the safer road practices, right? They are only focusing on the unsafer road practices. As you rightly mentioned, most of these YouTubers or most of these social
Thoughts,
media users are
algorithm.
just highlighting their wealth or their skills of rough driving on the social media, right? So as a 26 years or 26 years old, or as at your age, you are actually fine enough to let's say uh, conclude there, or you can say the conclude their marking that they are just highlighting their wealth, and they are just serving this kind of content for the higher number of viewers, right? But when we are thinking from the side of a child or from a child from a school going person, so they are directly influenced that yes, I can drive like this, or they are just uh, get that kind of picture in that mind. So even if they are they are just using the cycle, they try to imitate that particular bike driver or a stunter, which he or she get from the social media, right? So to enhance this kind of behavior, we can directly address this change by diminishing the attention span in the digital age. So how it's like interactive learning. We can use the interactive learning platform. Let's say we can use the driving simulator as well as the AR VR solutions to create the immersive learning experience that allow the youth to understand the requirement of road safety, right, in controlled way and in the control environment. Second one is the if we are talking only about the school going child, so they are very fond of the games and as well as the this app kind of thing or the mobile apps, right? You can develop the educational mobile apps, or you can say the games related to the road safety, or which can directly influence the road safety skills within them. Then comes the digital media as well as the, you can say, the social media. So we can serve the short form of content, like the bit size of videos or celebrate contents of infographics. And particularly for the Gen Z, we can create the memes and the videos that can be easily consumed and shared on social media platform related to the road safety, not related to the unsafe behaviors, right?
So,
So
yeah.
this kind of steps we can take to enhance this experience, or we can directly just go towards the experimental learning, like the interactive workshop or the community engagement. We can also try to involve the youth or the Gen Z towards the community engagement project of road safety. So there are many NGOs and the many institutes and many companies like yours who is already serving the content or who is already working on the road safety, but youth and Gen Z are not very much aware about your efforts, right? So you have to bridge this gap by the interactive social media post or anything you suggest, right?
Mm.
And or you can for the people who love the art and the oral fact, you can directly make the tailored made content or the narrative or the storytelling guideline of how you can storytelling competition on how you can enhance the road safety, or what are the efforts to be what are the efforts required to be enhance the road safety within India. So this kind of integrated efforts is required, not just single kind of effort, right? So we have to do the continuous engagement as well as the we have to serve the things which are accepted by the youth and Gen Zs.
True. So, like, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but I just got a thought, right? So our country, India, we've been under constant threats, and there were a lot of invasions that happened, right, throughout the years. And we also had the colonial invasion that had happened. And when they came in, they realized that, okay, it's such a strong culture, such a strong civilization. The only way to break them is by making their own culture look bad, right? So I feel we should take a page out of the British playbook, and
It's
then
like learning from my mistakes. So
more,
title should be
more
learning
like
from our respect, not my respect. Learning from our respect. Uh, our errors. Learning from our errors.
correct. One is learning from the errors, but also how do we change the mindset of flaunting bad driving, right? We should change that from, okay, flaunting bad driving to making it like, okay, no, that is stupid, right? That period, like it has to be made public, and then that mindset needs to be there in people that, okay, driving like that is not cool, that it should be like looked down upon. I think that's what is necessary, and that coupled with, of course, all this education in the form of memes, and then interactive learning and short form content, all of that will go a long way. But also, coming to think of it, right? Now, when there is a potential threat within a country, you have a special cell which eliminates the threat, right? So similarly, if you have somebody who could be a potential road threat within a particular city, country, or something, it has to be identified and then action needs to be taken, right? You should have a special cell that takes action based on all this which is being identified on social media and all of that, because that person who is like a repeat offender for those views is the person who could potentially be the one causing that catastrophic accident which involves the death of multiple people. So I feel like proactively doing something about it. I hope that is something that the various cells are taking into cognizance and doing something about, because that is a potential threat which needs to be looked into, is what I also feel.
So actually, based on this highlight, I just want to share a brief on the Ahmedabad traffic police work. So actually, before just 1 or 2 months ago, someone had posted on X, or you can Twitter, or right now it's X. So on that particular site, that this video from the Instagram highlighted that this many persons are using vehicle in the unsafest form in one of the roads of Ahmedabad. So they are just driving, they are just doing stunts on the Ahmedabad roads, and they are there using their cars to just represent them as the cool person of our country, right? So someone just tagged the Ahmedabad police and ask them to do something on this particular issue, as we discussed. So Ahmedabad police take that very seriously and generate an FIR and arrest that particular persons in that video. So this kind of effort from citizens is also required, right?
Mm,
So
correct.
we
Yeah.
must highlight. So we must highlight this kind of issue. So it's kind of a win-win, which the situation becomes win-win when it starts from our side as well as them side. Them, it means the decision maker.
True.
So we must be on the same page to get the perfect results from our efforts.
No, I completely agree. That's very important. It takes two hands to clap, and it takes we need to be the change that we want to see and
Exactly.
contribute to that change. And so one very important question I have is like a lot of times in today's day and age, the fines for violations are like, say, manageable. It's manageable for people to pay those fines, whereas if you compare it with certain other countries, right? Say, just for example, the US, right? Sometimes the fines for overspeeding goes to up to, say, 450 $500, and our fines for overspeeding are to the tune of, say, 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees. So what do you think about that? Do you think like we should have higher fines? Do you think that will bring about a change in behavior? Also considering the socio-economic diversity of our country, how should that be looked at?
So in my opinion, we should give at least three warning to a person in the form of the warrant. Let's say I'm getting three warrants in a year,
Hmm.
and if I'm getting fourth warrant, let's say in 2022, I'm getting first warrant to not wearing the helmet, second warrant to not wearing the seat belt, and third warrant for the overspeeding. So the fourth time, my license get cancelled. The only issue, the only uh, the only way to enhance our enforcement practices is that we have to cancel the license of a particular person. That's all. Because if you are greatly, I am greatly agree with your point that these fines are very manageable, right? So people are like, yes, sir, itna rupees le lo. I have to go to college or I have to go to my workplace. That's all. They are not very concerned कि मुझे एक memo मिला या तीन memo मिला. When we have decided the upper margin of that memo, then and then people should care about the seriousness of getting this memo or seriousness of violating the traffic laws. Otherwise, it's like मैं traffic के law तोड़ता रहूंगा और then I get to pay and yes, that's all.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I think that's a very valid point that you mentioned. Um, and I just want to also talk about a personal experience of mine, right? So we work with a lot of companies and help them with driving safety of their employees, right? So how we do that is we have an AI-based app which monitors the driving behavior, which is things like your phone usage while driving, harsh acceleration, braking, cornering, overspeeding, and then we it coaches the employees on how they can become safer behind the wheel. And through this, now organizations can identify unsafe employees, behaviors, regions, and basically bring about the right interventions at the right time. So interestingly, one of the clients that we are working with, they wanted to design this kind of a system where you have an upper limit on the violations.
Exactly.
So if there is, if you make if your violations cross a certain threshold, then your manager is somebody that gets informed about it. And if it's a repeated offense, then the manager's manager gets involved. And if it's a third time repetition, then the HR team also gets involved. So that worked brilliantly to, bring about a change in the driving behavior. Accidents had come down. So yeah, I feel this having that upper limit is very important.
And
No doubt.
second thing, you can this is the kind of the hammering strategy, right? And second one is the flooring strategy. In that strategy, how we can actually enhance the behavior of a particular person, right? So we have to give like brownie points to a person's account. Let's say he's wearing helmet regularly for the 365 days of working, or you can say the 360 days or 340 days of working. So he or she gets a brownie point of 360 brownie points for behaving properly while driving, right? So this kind of strategy also help. So you can also incorporate the strategy to carpool, right? So carpooling strategy may also be the good one to reduce the chances of road accident, as well as to enhance the overall environment of urban area, right? Because the most of the time the urbanization is directly the urban environment is directly affected by the motorization, right? So it can also reduce the traffic as well as the threat towards the drive by the road accident. So this kind of thing can be also incorporated in the corporate strategy, because corporates are very well aware about their own working culture as well as their own responsibility. So they are like the front runners to this kind of things, right? So they are very much care about their employees. So this is how the corporate should work to enhance the road safety, as well as to be the pioneer of India to within the India to lead the road safety pocket
Mhm.
within our country.
No, absolutely. That's very important, right? The rewarding mechanism is something which goes a long way in ensuring that behavior change.
Yeah.
And also like micro nudges. Micro nudges also
Yes.
bring about that behavior change. And we've seen the companies that do this well. We work with a lot of companies and they have implemented such strategies, and this is only the thing that works. And also, interestingly, we're seeing a lot of focus that large enterprises are giving towards the safety of their employees, because that's a demographic which can be influenced, and safe driving can be brought about because they're on the rolls of that particular company. So that goes a long way in contributing towards bringing about safe driving within the country, right? So a controlled environment bring about that behavior change. These people now influence a larger demographic. But also, I think it again boils down to mindset, right? There are certain companies who feel that, okay, this is something that I don't want to invest into right now. But again, they need to keep in mind, like, okay, cost of accident is so and so, your brand reputation is so and so. And in case something goes wrong, you would always be like, okay, I could have done this and I should have done this before. So I think taking that right decision at the right time to invest into training the employees, putting in place the right technologies, I think that goes a long way in ensuring that you're contributing towards every employee getting back home safe, and also contributing towards making the country roads a much safer place. Because it's just because a fatality has not happened within your organization, that doesn't mean it won't happen, right? And there are steps that need to be taken towards ensuring the safety and creating that wider influence. Yeah. So I think that's a very important thing. Now, in today's day and age, right, when we're talking about the advent of autonomous vehicles, do you think that's the solution?
I'm
Self-driving cars.
partially sorry.
So do you think self-driving cars is the solution to ensuring like we get to a place where the accidents come down significantly?
Uh, it's quite this question is like uh, earlier state to answer, right? Because the self-driving cars are just on the verge of that rising pocket of research, as well as the rising pocket of most of the automobile countries, right? Companies. So, in fact, when you are comparing the scenario of India and putting down an autonomous vehicle within the uncontrolled environment of India, so it's very difficult to perform this kind of vehicle very well as in the safest manner in India, right? Because let's start with a conversation. So let's say automated car of Tesla is working very well in US. But when it comes to India, there are multiple issues which are not part of that US road, right? So first one is the animal strain. Let's say any part of India or any urban road of India or rural road of India, suddenly an animal can be came in front of your in front of your vehicle, and whether it can be automated or self-drive or it can be semi-automated or anything, right? So first of all, our automobile vehicle company must analyze the issue of India or issue of any country. Then they should program their vehicle, or then they should program that particular program of that auto driving vehicle. And after developing that program at its very best, not just best, at its very best, they have to cross check this kind of vehicle in actual environment, not in the controlled environment, in the uncontrolled environment for several times or for several days. And then after doing the perfect analysis by interacting with the human as well as the other vehicle, and company should decide whether we should go for this kind of vehicle or not in this part of country, this part of world, or this part of area. So that's how they can develop a strategy. But as of now for India, it's way longer. It's get very long time to be very comfortable with the auto driving vehicle. This is just my opinion. There can be a chance that we can get automated vehicle within upcoming 2 years or 3 years, but still it's quite difficult to handle this vehicle on our on this kind of traffic situation of India.
True. I think that autonomous vehicles definitely is one of the solutions to reducing accidents, fatalities, all of that, right? Just eliminating the human error which can come about. But it's also important for us to look at it from like a long-term perspective, 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years, that, okay, this will have mass adoption at that point. But roads and infrastructure and all of that has to now start taking shape with respect to those guidelines to ensure that in 10, 15, 20 years, we have autonomous vehicles that can take us from point A to point B in a safe manner. But we have to start thinking on those lines and
Exactly, we have to start thinking, but as of now there is no possibility. But as you are very right on your on your statement, there can be a possibility that after 10 years or after 15 years, we can say that yes, our environment is now ready to launch the autonomous vehicle, and we are very comfortable with the autonomous vehicle, because
Yeah.
there are several things to address. The economical aspect of automated vehicle, as well as the economical aspect of our country also, right?
Yeah.
Because there are multiple things which are getting affected by the implementation of autonomous vehicle in our market.
Yeah. Yeah.
People's social status, people's economical status. Let's say person, uh, and I think in Australia or in Canada, some drivers, or you can say the some truck drivers, are just making the black flag against the automated driving trucks, because they are just consuming their jobs. So indirectly or directly, they are also affecting the social status of a particular person.
True.
And when a social status of a particular person is affected by any kind of changes, it may it may directly or indirectly affect the overall community. So as of now, it's quite tricky to say yes or no on this kind of situation. So it's like it's the flexible solution. I can agree that automobile sector must think on the automated vehicle or semi-automated vehicle, but still it should be in the flexible way. It's neither yes or neither no. It must be like we can develop such kind of things based on the requirement of market as well as a particular area.
So the way I look at it, I have a different point of view there. I don't think it's a question of yes or no. It's a question of when and how, right?
Exactly, it's a question of
Because
when and how. Yes,
yeah, it's inevitable that this technology will come about. There's no doubt about it, right? Because
yes,
software has reached that capability, hardware has reached that capability. Uh, like at this point, we see that there is driver shortage even in the Indian market when we talk about transport and logistics sector. The per you the again, when we compare this with global standards, yes, the hourly rate for this manpower is getting higher, right? Because of inflation and all these
yes.
aspects. So even in India, of course, it's just a matter of when it is going to happen, right? So I strongly believe that these people who are part of these authorities, right? Say uh, we were talking about how Gujarat has it, how Punjab has it. These road safety bodies, which are working very closely with the state government to ensure this, needs to also start. I'm pretty sure they're already doing it. They're smart people. They know it, but they should also ensure that yeah, okay, if in 10 years, 15 years, these vehicles are going to come about. So infra has to be designed accordingly, and the people who would go out of jobs, they need to be upskilled right away into something which is an adjacent, right? So I think this is the logical thing to do, and we can't uh, be under this assumption that it will not come, because it
Yes,
will come.
definitely. It
It's
will
just
come. It will come. Definitely, it will come. But the question is how and when, and
true.
how is the major part to focus on.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And so last but not least, so what's the message you want to leave people with?
The message for the people is very clear from my side. So whenever you are talking about, or you are listening about, or you are writing, or you are just going through about the knowledge or any kind of situation related to the road safety or the road hazard, the only thing to keep in mind is where can I contribute and how can I contribute, because it's all start with you only, right? When and when you are trying to incorporate yourself as a part of the system, the existing system, and when you are trying to change yourself, you will get to know that how difficult it is to change other, as well as how difficult it is to incorporate the changes, right? So it's great to start with yourself. So educate yourself, drive properly, be in a particular lane, so follow the rules, as well as the try to incorporate other people to be be around the zone of road safety, because as of now, no one is care about this major era. And based on the World Bank's report, road crashes are taking the road crashes, or you can say the road accidents are the fourth or fifth major cause of uh, fatalities around the globe, right? And in 2011, actually in 2011 or 2010, World Bank has generated, or you can say World Bank announced road accident as the catastrophe, or you can say the like worldwide disease, which are taking the higher lives, higher number of lives, right? So it's always start with you. So be responsible and try to incorporate other people in this great drive to enhance the road safety around you as well as within India.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you and look forward to having more such conversations with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also, I would like to congratulate you as well as your team, because you are doing very fantastic work. I know it takes lots of time and effort to incorporate all these things, but you guys are doing very much responsible as well as the work which are required for the betterment of society. So hats off to you and very much congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.